Good morning, students. So again I am here with the chapter number 4 of computer application, and the name of the chapter is Basics of Operating System. Basics of Operating System. In this chapter, the initial part which I am going to explain in this video, and that are basic concepts of operating system, role of operating system, in which we will discuss program execution, handling input and output operations, manipulation of file system, error detection and handling, resource allocation, accounting, information and resource protection, providing user interface. Third thing we are going to discuss here, that is need of operating system, and then operating system. So first of all, we should start with basic concept of operating system. Basic concept of operating system. What is the need of operating system? So before discussing about this, that what is basic concept of operating system, before discussing about the basic concepts of operating system, we should be aware, or we should know, that what is operating system. What is operating system? So in simple words, if we want to understand that what is operating system, a fine machinery which is working for us in the computer. Us means user, the user. Operating system, a fine machinery which is working for the user, or it is working on the behalf of the user, or it is making the computer to function, to work. It is making the computer to function, to work. That is operating system. Operating system in lower classes, 6th, 7th, 8th. In primary classes, it was told to you that operating system, it works as a bridge. Between the computer and the user. That is the bridge. That bridge. It means it is working on behalf of the user, and it is making a computer to work. Or without operating system, in other words, we can see that without operating system, a computer is not able to work. So some lines are there, and that are: an operating system is a program which acts as an interface between a user and the hardware, all the computer resources. So after this, now we should start with basic concepts of operating system. What are the basic functions? Why we require operating system? What components are required for our operating system to work? So the basic concepts: an operating system is an important component of a computer system which controls all the components of the computer system. Major components of a computer system are the hardware, the operating system, the application programs, and the human being, the user. So basic concepts, these are the basic concepts of the operating system. I told you that the hardware, the operating system, application program, and the human being. If we are having a computer, assume, or just listen to an example, that if we are having a computer system and any one thing is missing, either it is in hardware, or either it is in software, or either it is an operating system, or it is an user. 4 things they gather or combinedly make a computer system work. Make a computer system work. Hardware is required as well as software is required. Then operating system is required, and then a user, the human being, is also required. You are having hardware but not having software. You are having hardware and software, and the user is also there but not operating system. Not having operating system. So if any one thing is missing, a computer system can't work. A computer system can't work in a proper way. Got it? So, what are the roles of operating system? What are the roles of operating system? Roles of operating system. Why we require an operating system, or what kind of functions an operating system is responsible for? What kind of functions are handled by an operating system, or what kind of works an operating system can perform? So first one is the program execution. Program execution means whatever instruction, whatever command is given by the user, that is executed with the help of operating system. In other words, we can see that for processing, the data is given to the computer, and for processing that data, for the processing of that data, operating system is necessary, it is mandatory. Operating system is responsible to process that request, instruction, command. That is program execution. That is program execution. Program execution, basically program execution, program. Program, it is a set of instructions or set of programs. Program is a set of instructions or set of commands. They combinedly make a program. So first thing, that an operating system is responsible for program execution. Program execution means to execute the instructions, commands given by the user to give the desired output. Second is handling input and output operations. Whatever the input is given by the user, it is handled by operating system. Then after, it is processed by operating system, and finally the output is also given by the operating system. So this input output operation, IPO cycle, I told you in earlier chapter, IPO cycle, input, process and output. Input is given to the computer, then it is processed, and then the output is given by the computer. So the main component which is responsible for handling these input and output operations, and that is operating system. Whatever kind of input it is, or whatever kind of output it will be. Basically, output is dependent on the input. What kind of input is given, the output will be on the basis of that input. So all these input and output operations, they are handled by operating system. Third one is manipulation of file system. Manipulate means to make the changes. So file system, computer system, it is having its own file system where it decides that where to keep the files, where to store the data. So several drives are there in a computer. A single computer has several drives. Single computer is having several drives. So if the user is not telling the computer where to store the file, and when the computer stores the file on its own, it will be executed, or it will be done by the help of operating system. It will tell the location, and if a computer the computer will decide that where to store the file if a particular location is not given by the user to store the file. Manipulation of file system, that thing it is called the manipulation of file system. Error detection and handling, next thing is error detection and handling. It is also done by, or operating system is responsible for error detection and handling. If some kind of error is there, either it is hardware error or it is a software error, that is done by operating system. Error detection and handling. Error detection, either at the time of execution of the program, if any kind of error is there, the operating system will check it and it will tell to the user that the program is having an error, which the user have to change it or make it in a particular sequence or in a particular manner. Fifth one is resource allocation. Resource allocation, a very little typical matter, a little typical topic. It is resource allocation. Resource allocation. So before telling about the resource allocation, listen to an example. That assume that a computer is working and it is short of memory for a particular work. So then the operating system will handle that situation, and that will be called error detection and handling. If a computer is running out of memory, it is short of memory, then the operating system will error detect it and handle it. Then after, the operating system is also responsible for supplying or providing the RAM or ROM, to a particular program during execution and during storage. So resource allocation, to provide the resources to the computer, for a particular work, that is resource allocation. हिंदी में आपको बता देते हैं इस चीज को. रिसोर्स एलोकेशन, जब कंप्यूटर चल रहा होता है या जब कंप्यूटर पे कोई काम करवाया जा रहा होता है, उस समय अगर मेमोरी कम है, मेमोरी स्पेस कम है, या कोई भी हार्डवेयर या सॉफ्टवेयर सही तरीके से काम नहीं कर पा रहा है, तो उसके लिए ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम रिसोर्सेज प्रोवाइड कराएगा उस चीज को, उस काम को, उस पर्टिकुलर टास्क को सफलतापूर्वक पूरा करने के लिए. दैट इज रिसोर्स एलोकेशन, प्रोवाइडिंग द रिसोर्सेज और यूटिलाइजिंग द रिसोर्सेज इन अ पर्टिकुलर मैनर. Third one is accounting. To keep all the data of the computer, for example RAM, which software, which hardware, whichever software or whichever hardware is occupying how much memory or occupying how much memory space on the computer. That type of accounting, it is done by operating system. How much memory a computer is having, how much is used and how much is left. That type of accounting is done by computer. Whereas accounting of files and information or data, which drive is having, any one of the drive, how much data is in that drive, how much is empty, how much is occupied, how much space is occupied and how much space is left empty. That is accounting. Information and resource protection. To keep the The operating system is responsible for ensuring that information resources available on machine are used in a correct way. The operating system foils the attempt to use them incorrectly. So the resources which are available, they should be used in a particular manner. And if they are not used in a particular manner or they are used incorrectly, that type of accountability is called information and resource protection. A particular device or particular software, it is responsible for a particular work, and if a user want to work in an improper way, the computer will violate. You are violating the rules of the working on the computer. You are violating the rules and you are not using it in a proper way. So computer will not permit you to work like that. The computer will not permit you to work like that. Last one, and that is providing user interface and environment in which a user can work, in a friendly environment, in a friendly manner. Whatever you are telling to the computer, whatever the input you are giving to the computer, it is processing it and it is giving the desired output. So that is user interface. So user interface, these two things, they are responsible or they are the part of providing user interface, and they are shell and kernel. The shell part of the operating system, it interacts with the user, whereas the kernel part of the operating system, shell part of the operating system, it interacts with the user, whereas kernel, it interacts with the hardware. Sometimes what happens, if we want to perform a particular task or a particular function and particular hardware devices are not available with us. For example, we want to listen music on the computer. But we are not having a sound card. We are short of sound card. So the user will instruct the computer to play the music, but the kernel part, it will deny, as there is no music card, there is no sound card in the computer, and no speakers are available. If the speakers are also available, it is not an issue, but the issue is that if the sound card is not there, then the shell part the user will instruct, but the kernel part, it will deny that function, that this function can't be performed properly, as the user or the computer system, it is not having the particular hardware device. Next thing is that what is the need of operating system? Operating system, as we discussed earlier, and I told you earlier that operating system, it is a very vital, it is a very important part of the computer. So without operating system, we can't work on a computer. If we are not having operating system. A computer system can't work, or a user can't work on that computer system. So main thing to understand that what is the need of operating system. Operating system, as I told you earlier, that when a computer system acts as a interface, or it acts as a bridge between the user and the computer. So whatever the user tells the computer, it is handled by the operating system. Operating system tells the computer components to perform that function, and then after give the output. It is just like a servant, or it is like a secretary of a person. It is like a secretary of a person, that the person instructs the secretary to do a particular work. The secretary performs that work, and then after tells the person, that the particular person, that this work is finished, that this work is finished. So here operating system, it is like a secretary. It is like a secretary. Whatever work is given to the computer, it is handled by operating system. Operating system decides that what to do with that instruction, what to do with that instruction. Then after it performs the desired function, desired task, desired work, or desired activity on that instruction, and then after the results are given to the user as an output. So this is the need of operating system. On page number 67 of your book of chapter 4, page number 67 of chapter 4 of your book, a illustration is given to you. So the need of operating system and the works of operating system are discussed here. So you can read from there or to understand in a better manner. An operating system is the program which acts as an interface between the user and hardware to facilitate convenient access to hardware by the user, by providing facilities to interact with the user in user's language with utmost user friendliness. So this thing, convenient access to the hardware. So as we all know that computer is not able to understand any kind of language. It only understands one language, and that is binary language. It is not able to understand Hindi, English, or whatever it is. It understands only one language. So operating system is responsible.